Is raining, which means it's the perfect time for a fishing stream. That's right, today we are going fishing, it's going to be exciting, and one of the best things I'm looking forward to is finally getting my hands on all of the enchanted books. This is one of my big goals in this Let's Play world, getting a type of book from every single, version of every single enchantment. It is something that does take some doing, but I'm slowly getting there, and this is my room that will hopefully be filled after a long time with the rod and the sea. I won't just be in one specific place, I'll be moving around some good fishing spots in the world, seeing where the best enchantments are, and indeed, I'll be storing it all in this lovely shulker box right here, which I'll make blue just for the occasion. I think I made the wrong box blue for the occasion. But anyway, with that said, I am going to be going fishing, and I hope that you come along for the journey. I think these streams are a good opportunity to... Let's actually free up some inventory spaces. These streams are a good opportunity to catch up, have a slightly chiller stream as to what's going on. I feel like in the most hectic streams, it's hard to stay up to date with chat, and I love these streams as an opportunity to actually say hi, how's it going, having a good time. I also, by the way, if you don't know about the benefits of being able to go fishing in the rain, it is a boost to the amount of fish and stuff that you'll find, which means if you combine this with a lure rod, you can start fishing like wild. And so that is precisely what I'm doing today, right into this shulker. In fact, it's going so wild that even opening my inventory means that I'll miss the fish, which is fun. Fishing is a very relaxing activity, but it's bonus hour for fishing right now. Something I absolutely do adore. With that said, let's place down our box. Let's place down our first two items, 2 raw cod and a stick, and let's see how many books we dredge up from the depths. Honestly, the number of books we have down there, there's like a library just chilling under this one lake. The fact that I found mending under there after all of the pain from before, it's something that's nice. Also, hello ibxtoycat. Hope you are wonderful. I hope I'm wonderful too, Sue Second Life. I've quickly just paused the preview up there. Oh, there we go. I also hope that I'm wonderful. It's been a fairly decent week. Speaking of decent week, hooray! Fish!
Hooray. Fish in the stream.
There are fish in the stream. There's fish on the stream, and even crazier than both of those things, there's fish underneath the stream. That's right. This is a stream that you're watching a stream of a stream right now. I guess this is kind of more like a lake because it's a more of a pond than a stream. So for my joke to make sense, we're gonna have to go over to that little stream over there. But we're gonna go fishing in the stream in the fishing stream. It's gonna be great. There's gonna be a fishing stream in the fishing stream, and yeah, there's also going to be a lot of fish outside. Also, whoa, each got a fishing rod. This one has Unbreaking and Lure. I love the number of randomly enchanted fishing rods you find out there. As if some people made this perfect fishing rod for them and then went, I don't need it, and just threw it right in the sea. Something I absolutely love. Real life fishing is overrated. The fish stab you with their fins, even if you are letting it go. Yeah, I feel like fish are so ungrateful when you let them. There are commercial fishers who are, gonna end their life. And fish aren't nice to you for being like, oh, yeah, you could have murdered me, but you didn't choose to. That was swell of you. A high five is, would maybe go too far. But it would be nice if fish appreciated the things that people do. I've never been fishing in my life, by the way. It's one of those, you need to have an old person in your life, kind of hobbies, right? Like, an old man in particular, right? It's never like your grandma takes you out to go fishing. Honestly, even then, I feel like fishing's just a good excuse to hang out with someone while having precisely no interaction with them whatsoever. You got this technical thing you gotta pay attention to all day. It's like playing video games back when video games were less fun. And which is why video games got more fun now that we have better fishing than real life. Look at this. I've got to carefully place my bobber in the water, make sure that I let it out at just the right moment. And if I do so, I'm rewarded with some salmon. What is there not to love? But yeah, it's good to see you, by the way, Rue. I'm sorry to hear you're doing poorly. It's also good to see everyone else here today. How are you doing, Justin? Delisle, how are you doing, Celeste? I hope you're doing just wonderfully. Pro tips of ibxtoycat indeed. It is a weird thing, the kind of split that we have on the streams on this channel. The fact that there is 2 categories. It's yeah, well, there are streams where we're going out doing something intensely Minecraft, and the streams where we get to kind of catch up more as we do some important things in the Let's Play world. And I always thought it's fun that the streams always kind of categorize themselves that way. I think on YouTube it's dangerous to categorize yourself too much. I think a lot of people fall, prey to this in the world. By the way, speaking of falling prey, I'm crocheting a blanket. Toycat is fishing. Chat is chatting away. It's a good day, says Caitlin Smith. Thank you for the tip. I'm glad you're having a good day. I intend to have a good one. I've been eating. Oh, our first book. Is it something cool? Whoa, it's something really cool. Jesus, chat, look at this. There's too many enchantments on this book, but I'm happy with that. I'll take too many enchantments if they're offering. So that's our first enchanted book, and that's a killer of one. Honestly, all things considered. So yeah, one of the things that I could also do, if I want to be more efficient, is as soon as I get the experience, switch out. Oh, well, all the XP is going into the sea here, which means I just go in with my pickaxe, which is very damaged. And this can also be a healing up my tool stream. What a good time. Anyway, how many enchanted books do you predict you'll get this stream? That's a fun question, isn't it? 27. That's the exact number Stacy's saying. But yeah, I think putting yourself in a box can be kind of dangerous in the real world. You give people reasons to dismiss you sometimes. And so one of the weird things about YouTube is like, you've got to be careful not to say everything's a series. Because if you say everything's a series, you're mentally thinking like, oh, then people will know they should watch more. But you're actually saying, yeah, these are the good series, these are the bad series. And so something I've always been cautious of is like, every video on this channel, who knows what to expect? You know you're getting the Toycat attitude towards whatever it is. It's probably Minecraft, but outside of that, there's a lot of unknowns. And I always thought that's a fun way to do things. Speaking of fun ways to do things, Olia Hamdi says 42. Chat, how many enchanted books do you think we'll have by the end of the day? Give me your best guesses. I felt cheated. The thumbnail promised a chest, and we got a shulker box. Okay, you know what? We're gonna load it into this chest over here. How do you feel about that? Is that still misleading actually because it's a double chest? Sorry, you're right. This is too far. I shouldn't be doing this to you. The only logical fix for this is obviously to go and make another chest right over here. This can be our today's fishing stream chest, where we'll put all of the fun things we get, like this brand new bow. Like this is, wait, this must be my bow, right? Look how incredible the things we're getting are. Yeah, that's nuts, that is. I want to keep fishing while we're getting these good rates going. By the way, is it fishing stream should move to a fishing stream to work, right? Fishing moves should move. Yeah, honestly, if we're fishing in the if we're not fishing in the fishing stream in the stream, if we're not doing a fishing stream in the fishing stream, then is it really a fishing stream? Is an important question to be there. But in the real world, it's also true that we tend to put ourselves in boxes that just allow people to be like, oh yeah, I don't know about that. When hopefully you're more complex.
Just about to pick up my assigned student today. Thank you for not being later. Glad to hear your week is going well so far. So is mine, mostly. Merry Stream Moss.
Merry Stream Moss to you. Merry Stream Moss to you. It is a good day to be someone. Oh wow, okay, so unbreaking free is actually nuts. To just randomly find on a book. Honestly, going fishing might be the solution to rather than setting up a village, maybe you should just go fishing at this point. If you get a good rain patch in your world, maybe this is all you got. So Cat, you should do Fishing Planet. Yeah, let's go fishing in the stream, chat. This is a valid and important thing. By the way, look at just how much XP we're slowly hoovering up with our thing here. Let's throw our stuff away. We will have plenty more, that's for sure. And let's go in the stream here. This is my beautiful little stream in front of my Let's Play house, where my spawn house is, etc. It's all happening here, including my fishing today. So this is a very random question, but do you like vanilla Coca-Cola? It's to this day I do drink probably like 20 cans of like Diet Pepsi, no caffeine a month or something like that. Like probably an absurd amount for someone who doesn't like it, or a small amount for someone who's really into it. It depends on how you want to see things. But I still concur by the idea that why do we pretend Coke is like this great flavor? I can't describe Coke. It's vegetable oils It's one of those things that's just popular because it's popular. Like it's the flavor of vague carbonation and something that isn't water in there. So yeah, adding any flavor to it improves it greatly. I like vanilla Coke. I like lime Coke. You gotta add something in there to make it more fun, but also only sometimes, right? Also, oh, we moved closer to my conduit. Also, why is the thing not going off? That's like the third time that happened. Because it's raining, my conduit is now activated with me on it, which is fun. Yeah, that's real fun. So yeah, we're now fishing in the stream, which is nice. Sometimes that's what you've got to do in life. Just go for a fish in a little stream, get yourself some pufferfish. Sugar tastes like Coca-Cola. One of the weird things a lot of people kind of like lost in the whole discourse about how sugar is bad is like there's a reason we all love sugar. It is to the natural body, finding some sugar in the forest would be like, ooh, I can eat, you know, like you get all this energy in such a small package. The modern world is kind of like the opposite of what we evolved, or what we lived most of our pre you know, like industrial lives in, or I guess like settler societies in. But before we had like surplus food, we spent most of our time like struggling with there is not enough food, and so we have all these impulses that tell us like when there is good food that has lots of nutrition, eat lots of that. Or not even nutrition, just pure energy is what we need. It doesn't matter about eating right if you don't have enough food. So your body prefers something deep fried to some salad with all your essential oils. Because essential oils don't help you survive as much as just pure energy when there's not much food. In the same way that, like, I don't know, if you were going to download one YouTube video to watch on an island, you wouldn't pick a 16-second YouTube short. I assume. I hope not. I've ended up down some weird short rabbit holes at some points. Like I've watched just various things being ran over by trains, and it's like, you know, that might be a good video at some point. But if you knew you had to watch this over and over again, you might pick like a movie. You might pick like a 12-hour-long video, so you get the most. You know, you're thinking about the most length versus the quality to length ratio. Anyway, speaking of ratio, I would argue sugar is just addictive as things that are more typically considered drugs. I think it's the most addictive. One of the things that's like in my DNA that I'm always fighting is like I love food so much. Food's so good. Also, the rain is gone. Ah, that's sad. I don't want to see clearly now. The rain. Anyway, by the way, I heard also. Sorry, look at that tree over there. Doesn't that kind of look like a dinosaur? Do you see it, chat? Do you see the dinosaur? I see a dinosaur. Speaking of dinosaurs, I would like to say thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. I'm doing a for the update, as I've decided the last stream in Streamless will be the member font, by the way. Every member will extend the stream silliness. Because, yeah, I like doing fun events like that. And if you like them too, then boy do I have the place for you to be. Speaking of place for you to be, By the way, if you wanna, okay, so I'm gonna have to, I wanna point this out that this is, hey, wow, it's still going. How many were there? I thought it was just 5. Maybe I miscounted. Either way, feeling pretty good. So, I've been watching your videos since like 2020. I think a lot of YouTubers, like, a lot of audiences found YouTubers in 2020. It's weird because I recently found someone who was just commenting something on a video like, oh yeah, I really like this new format you're doing. I think it was about the quick dives. I appreciated the words. But they said something in there that was like, oh yeah, like, I've been subscribed for a while, and but like, it's appreciated to see something like this. I think they had like not an insult, but they're like, oh yeah, one of the issues is sometimes, like I know where you're going and you haven't got there yet, that sort of stuff. And so, I looked at his account because it said how long he'd been subscribed for, and it was 7 years, and I was like, ooh, that's a really long time. But then I thought about it, and I remember in 2016 being like, oh wow, I've got this wave of new subscribers that like, don't even know how things used to be. They've always seen me as a bit like, I don't know, it's, the weird thing about roots, right? I think the reason, if you ever have a, I don't know, like, the reason that I think a lot of people stay together when they meet in college or, you know, like university or whatever, is because you're both at a point where it's all about your personality to some extent. The balance of like, well, how much do you earn, etc., literally doesn't come up because, you know, it's all going to come in later. Like, someone being there before something's big, it's something I think a lot of people feel proud of. Or at the very least, it's like something that a lot of people desire. And so, yeah, one of the interesting things is like, I was always a tiny YouTuber in my head. There was like a random switch that happened overnight as the channel started booming. And now, like, people look at it and they're like, oh, wow, yeah, you're one of, like, some people say, like, oh, yeah, one of the original Minecraft people. It's like, no, that's not. There's a big gap between 2009 and 2012. But the relative gap of how, like, in my mind, I am such a new wave of Minecraft YouTuber. But also, now being 11 years into it, it's like, yeah, actually, that's not, the definition of new is changing. It's weird that, like, people say the words like 70s artist or something, and you describe a whole decade of people. People at the end of the 70s would have nothing in common with people at the start. They'd be like, oh yeah, that old hat stuff. A decade is such a long time. Think about 2029 and now, and think about the difference in your life 6 years from now versus now. People are going to categorize it and be like, yeah, that was one whole decade. And that's insanity. I guess think about the difference between now and like 2010 and 2019. Whenever we neatly like categorize things into old and new, I feel like we like lose out on the fact that like, yeah, things are just always getting older. That's why I think people get surprised whenever a celebrity dies. It's the same thing. Like, it's like, wow, they were getting older and while I wasn't paying attention. It's one of the kind of tragic things about anywhere where you have an audience. By the way, I've got myself a fish juice beverage. It is there's some clam juice and some tomatoes in here. Don't know what's going on, but it's a very suitable fish drink, I imagine. Ooh, actually, really good. See, I've never eaten clams. Maybe I just don't live by the sea or something. So the fact that it goes with like so many things, people like fried clams or this clams or oysters or whatever, I don't get it. It's one of those seafood, like, no one's ever that excited by these things, are they? But apparently they are. Are you gonna do the stream you mentioned where you add a certain amount of time for every new membership? Says Lil Mush Treble. Yeah, that is the memberthon. It's happening on the 23rd of December. That's the current plan. It might move to the 24th. I don't know. I feel like this year's Christmas is like important for me to get right, if that makes any sense. Like I have to, you know, I'm not going heavy, but if it, you know, for a personal life update, I think so. I had I was raised by a single parent. Single parent passed away in October, unexpectedly, confusingly even. Yeah, one of the things about not only is it like losing both parents in a weird way, but also because it's like losing that, it's like, oh yeah, that's also my sense of like, that's where I go at Christmas. So what do I do now? So I have to like make a new routine, if that makes any sense. Routine is the wrong word because you're doing it once a year. New tradition, a new place to be. And so yeah, that's why Christmas this year I'm like less. I would love to do again. I would love to do 200 days live. Would love nothing more than to would love nothing more than that, and you know, maybe break the Minecraft world record, order some kebabs, but yeah, that's I don't know what's going on, but I know I need to be like extra present because it's not just me who has lost someone, but a lot of other people have too. That's the weird thing about people, right? The thing about celebrities is because a celebrity, I hate the word celebrity even. Let's just say person of note, a noteworthy person. Although that's implying you're not noteworthy. You're noteworthy if you're watching this right now. Let me assure you of that. But yeah, so the weird thing about people who are in the public sphere is because they open their life up to everyone. Like, because I just told you about that very personal detail, you know me a little bit more than you know most strangers. The person you pass on the tube, on the bus, on the street, all those people, the person next to you in traffic, all those people you don't really know anything about. You know they're real people. You know they have full lives, but because you don't know about any of it, you're not actively having to think. And so a big difference is with people in the public sphere. You have this like closer connection, but then also a bias that we have with even like close friends is you assume that what you know about someone is all there is to know about someone. It's kind of hard to like properly understand that someone is a nuanced individual. You're like, that's Steve, he's my friend. It's hard to understand that Steve's going through something, or hard to understand that Steve is a serial killer. Maybe that's why he's going through something. Maybe he's feeling real depressed that he keeps killing people. He just can't stop himself. He just enjoys the serial killing that darn bad. But yeah, it's hard. A lot of people struggle with this idea of like not knowing someone fully. And so, yeah, when someone in the public sphere dies, you're like, oh, you know, like there's a famous quote people say. You die 3 times. One is what is. You know, you die 3 times, but one of them's like when your heart stops. One of them's like when they bury you in the ground, and then the other one is the last time someone says your name. Like a lot of people find it controversial. I read a whole thread about this on Reddit. I'm glad I confirmed that it's not just me who thinks this is weird. It is a weird thing about the UK. So here you rent a grave plot. You don't buy it permanently. And so because you rent the plot, after 75 years, they dig up your body, put it somewhere else, and then they let someone else have that spot in the ground. Which a lot of people find kind of dark. I think, I do see why. I understand the caution, the weird feeling in that. But also it's like, yeah, at some point in that 75 years, the last person who remembers anything noteworthy about you has stopped thinking about you on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis. Like my great, I don't know my great-grandfather, either of them. I guess any of them. I must have a lot, right? You have a lot of relatives you got. I don't know anything about them. I can't picture them. I can't tell you good things they've done. I can't tell you if they're bad people, good people. They might have met me when I was 1 or 2, maybe. I wouldn't even imagine so. But you know, like having a plot for them, it's almost a little silly if I'm the only person left who had any connection to them. And once I'm gone, if I had a child, and then I'm not going to tell them stories about it, and then it's entirely gone. It's just an ancestor up the tree. Everyone agrees there is some point where it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, like your great grandparents you can't even say where they're from. It takes a lot of digging to even dive. Like, if you want to find out what your great grandfather did, like I've got someone in my family who's really obsessed with family trees, and they're like, yeah, like 7 generations up, I think there's a Polish person, and it's like this is them describing, I guess 7 generations up, so like their great grandparents, maybe great grandparents, but they're describing that, and they're like, yeah, I can maybe tell their ethnicity. It isn't that wild that you go from being a fully fledged person to being a vague sense of maybe a person amongst people who care about you. You know, even the celebrity thing, like you might think right now that Michael Jackson dying, or who's died recently, I feel like Anthony Bourdain died recently, right? Like, it's a big deal. It's someone you know, it's someone you care about. But then how many people can you name from even 100 years ago who had the same thing? Like, human lifespans are making a bigger difference is like a surprisingly hard thing to do. Making something that lasts a while is it's something I think about a lot. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is just to say that the amount you know about someone is not the complete picture. The amount I know about myself is infinitely more than someone 7 generations down the family tree being like, oh, I think he was British, but apparently he lived in America for a bit, so maybe he's American. I don't know. He had a very I almost said something I shouldn't have there. He had a very interesting. I hear he was Sri Lankan, so it sounds like he had a Sri Lankan last name or something. Anyway, the thing to say is that Fishing streams, says Caitlin Smith. Exactly. Sometimes I don't really care if I have a legacy. I want to make people happy here and now. It's an interesting balance, right? Because here and now is important too. Caring about the future that may never come seems silly when there is a here and now. And if anything, I feel like this whole conversation should be a reminder of that, not a dismissal of that. But at the same time, David Bowie passed away recently. I remember David Bowie passing away like 8 years ago because I had to learn that it was David Bowie and not David Bowie. And then I also learned that there's something called a Bowie knife, and that it's not named after the... I learned who he was when he died, to be totally honest with you. Like, even someone who makes an impact on, like, millions of people enjoying their songs. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't know those songs. I'm not going to tell anyone about David Bowie, except you guys right now. Clam juice is good, by the way. Clams and tomatoes. Good combination. Anyway, so... You have an internet presence as a historical record, says Mongeeses. Do you want to know something scary about... Okay, you know what? This is my real thought. I'm going to dive into it. A little bit dark for a fishing stream, but you know, it's dark. When the sun comes out, we'll stop. The crazy thing about the historical record of the internet is you would think that once it's on the internet, it's stuck out there. That's what people say all the time to like scare you out of posting things. That's the scary thing about being born past a certain year, right? Like I'm lucky in that there are only embarrassing photos of me once I'm a teenager. You can see a picture of me. The most embarrassing thing that exists is at some point someone somewhere took a picture of me in the back of a work truck doing some like kawaii hands or something like that. Not kawaii, what's the word? The rude hands. But you know, maybe they're kawaii. I'm not here to judge myself. But yeah, basically that was the... Even though that's a thing. Also, growing up, I thought it was a silly myth/joke that people pronounce tomato like that. I mean, I say tomato, you say tomato. Wait, you say tomato, I say tomato. It is funny that it's very rare that there are people who say both in the same places. Like, I feel like it is, you know, in North America, for example, it's like exclusively people who say tomato. You know, I feel like tomato is just easier to say. And as English speakers, we love to be lazy. Also, I totally missed that fish. I've got to work out. I'm gonna start drinking with my other hand. Like take a sip, because then I can let the bobber up. In fact, yeah, this is a one-click operation at this point. I just need to have the fishing rod come out and then the fishing rod go in. Can slowly move, and then move the next fishing rod bobber if I want to. But yeah, we're good. I say pecan differently based on being in Pi or not, says Chilius Bean 13. Man, how does anyone keep up with that stuff? But anyway, the thing I was going to say about the historical record is on the internet, things seem like they're out there forever. But things go away all the time. If it weren't for the Internet Archive, which itself is like kind of shaky, there is so much of the internet that is just gone. If there's not a commercial reason to keep something up. So, I think there's a wider discussion in here that's interesting to have that I think we're gonna have to sidestep for a second, which is like, how do you decide, are upkeep costs a good thing? So for example, should a shopkeeper have to pay rent to keep their shop going? In an ideal world, they wouldn't, because then they could just focus on being the best business, but they do. In the real world, every storefront that exists has to make money. You can't have a storefront that doesn't make money because they have to pay money to be there, and so you have to lose money to make no money. You know, there is a minimum amount to climb to get going. So the same thing sort of exists on the internet. If there is a website or of any form, or even just within a website, it has to make money to justify its existence, because hosting costs money. Every time you visit a website, you cost the server money because it sends that data all the way around the world to get to you. But also, even just if you find free hosting, if you can really economize and all of that, and very few people visit something. So there's a per visit cost, but there's also, you have to pay the internet people, I believe, You have to pay them for your domain. It's only $8 a year or something. But so the website, I ran several websites when I was a teenager. None of them exist anymore. The only records of them existing are on the Internet Archive. And so if that ever goes, everything I did as a teenager is gone. And bear in mind, you know, like I'm talking about when I was 13, 14, 15 years ago on the forever internet. Huge things. The thing I spent every day working on, all gone. I have a YouTube channel from before this YouTube. I try not to talk about it because it's like it's got a weird MLM phase in there. But you know, like pro. Anyway, so I have a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, there are videos that have become unlisted or like, you know, like I don't know, like age restricted or something. I can't access that account. It's gone forever. Also, Flame 1, Bane of Arthropods 4, and Piercing 4. I think Piercing is a good book to have. I think I'm pretty happy for that. I'm glad my GeoCities page seems gone. Yeah, there's so in the EU, there's this is a legal right enshrined in law. It's called the right to be forgotten. We actually something I don't agree with it being this way because I think a lot about, you know, the historical record and like it's better for just to know things about the past. I would love to have a conversation with someone from 100 years ago just to ask about their way of life. Just to ask how things really are, what they're thinking about, how they're feeling about things. Tell them some facts from now and let them, you know, it'd be great to have a conversation. But even a one-way actual historical deep dive, like to, when people record because they're trying to send it to the future, like a time capsule, you say different things than you say when you're just recording the real world. One of my favorite, like, bizarre... one of the weird things I like to do is on the third channel, I did a lot of walk and talks. It's just, here is a historical record of what this place looks like at this time to walk through. I really like this vibe of, like, this is real life. I've said this before, but one of the things I'm always trying to share, to my own detriment, like, if I just, like, made YouTube videos, fake entertainment with no truth or substance to them, I think I could be a lot more successful. But I love this sense of, like, this is something that is real. This isn't a made-up for the sake of anything. Anyway, I prefer Canada's right to withdraw content to the EU's right to be forgotten. Yeah, it's, they are both two extremes. Same, I agree. I had two forums which were most of my online life from 17 to 21 years old. And most of the stuff is gone, and the images are gone, 1999 to 2002-ish. There should be permanent archives, says James Spillers. Oh yeah, the first forum I spent time on, I think, is permanently gone. Sadly. Yeah, there's some weird stuff on... there's some weird stuff I'd love to see and cringe at. I keep, yeah, I think seeing... I think people value the right to be forgotten. People value the right to, you know, withdraw consent from, like, forms of storage. But I personally think just seeing things is fine. It hurts, but it hurt. Like, I don't know, if I go back and watch a video from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm like, ooh, did a better job. He should have, rather, should have done a better job. If I'd have just done this differently, it could have been so much better. I look back at my oldest videos and I'm like, who is this guy? And it hurts, but I'm not going to remove them. Every now and then, YouTubers go through this big purge of their own stuff. Because if you don't... like, in my old videos, you know, like, again, in the very first Let's Play on this channel, me playing Minecraft, the game I'm playing today, I drop a word that is now considered a slur, right? The R word. You have to say it. You can't say the word anymore. And I use it to describe a cactus. I'm not being mean to anyone besides cactuses. And, but like, the fact that something, you know, like, if someone had a vendetta against me, because, you know, let's be honest, people love to use these things as like, hey, if someone has a vendetta, I'm giving them the ammunition solely just for the sake of the historical record. One day I will regret it. One day someone's going to make me. But it's something I'm a big believer in. It's like, you can actually see my progression of starting to be a YouTuber, awkwardly getting there, and then being here. Also, you said Mew instead of new Let's Play series. It's good to know that I used to be bad at speaking even back then. You know, I picked the worst job for someone who doesn't know how to talk. I really did. But, yeah, Jacqueline Clifford. What country does IBX live in? I live in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Alex C. Hello, everyone. I just joined. What have I missed so far? You've missed some fishing, if you'll believe it. In the fishing stream.
Buy better bait for your fishing rod.
You know, I think I will buy some better bait for my fishing rod. That's a... Oh, whoa, okay. We should sort these books out into what needs to go inside of the place, by the way. There's a lot of fishing rods in here, too. Look how many fishing rods there are. Is this even the best one, lure free? I feel like I could find something better in here. Man, I need to do something about this. I need to take all the rods and put them in one, and take all the bows and put them in one. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll make this the bow chest, and then we'll take the rods and move the rods to a rod chest. And then we'll take all the books and take the books to a book chest. Yep, that's the only way to do it logically. By the way, buy better weight for your fishing rod. Thank you so much, Cheeky Fox. It's good to see you. It's one of those names. When I spot it, I'm like, oh yeah, that is someone from the In Tribe, the people that I know and that I like. And so it's good to see you. Hope you're doing wonderfully. If you're not doing wonderfully, hope you're doing wonderfully soon. If you have no chance of doing wonderfully in the near future, I hope that changes. Anyway, so now we're gonna move the last of the bows, plus the ones that I've picked up already into here. By the way, look at the bows I've picked up. Like, these are... It is wild the level of enchantability you get. Feels like a bug even. I would take advantage now. Get the fishing in while it's still good. And I'm going to put my other book in here. Later we're going to go through this and sort it correctly, etc. But for now, this works just great for me. By the way, thank you so much, Tracy. Whoa! Gifted 20 memberships. I hope... Clearly you're having a good day. Or hope you are about to have a good day. Tracy, thank you very much. I love your toy cat. Have fun. A fishing stream. I went fishing with Honey, and what I found was you. The reality is, if I wait to continue that, I'll need to achieve it offline, so I don't want to pay ongoing costs to store, says James Spillers. Yeah, that's the... Like, the actual reality, in my opinion, is like, yeah, you have to... If you care about something, you're paying somewhere some amount to store it. And ultimately, that is a place a lot of people draw the line and say, yeah, maybe I don't care. Maybe I would rather not care than pay. Because, you know, money is a finite resource. I could go to the store and eat lobster soup with really good bread. Or I could pay to store my dumb words on the internet so that one day someone can be mad at me over it. Like, you know, it's easy to see why people make the decisions that they do sometimes. Even if it's sad, it is at least understandable, right? Okay, so we're gonna go for a bit of a walk around the world, and we're gonna go fishing as we walk. This is what I like to call a fishing walk. do 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 do. I do think the internet should be preserved minus the more explicit content. Why minus the explicit content? Explicit things. So I think there's a lot of categories of explicit. Some of that stuff is horrifying, but more valuable to the future than to now. So I won't even mention the name of it, but there is a place where you can watch live footage of the Ukrainian-Russian war. We've never seen a war from the ground level in such high quality. I think a lot of people find it deeply uncomfortable on a level where you don't want it. Yeah, so you know, keep in mind that there is terrible stuff out there. Explicit stuff shows what was borderline in the day. Yeah, like I think it's just as valid of a historic record, if not more important to store. Because we're all trying to save our best, but we're not trying to save our worst, and so more of it will get lost. Like stuff like, wouldn't you like to see, as a dumb example, a 15th century nude? You know, if Anne Boleyn was gonna send Henry VIII like a cheeky little painting of her in some less than, you know, correct underwear, wouldn't you like to see it? Just like, even just to know, like, what does that look like? What did she think was so good that he had to see it immediately? what you know what was the equivalent of like there's lots of things that people aren't proud of and wouldn't store, but after they're dead and after their consent long stops mattering, would make such a big difference just on curiosity level. And even beyond curiosity, one of the big reasons we have history is to prevent the same mistakes of the past happening again in the future. By the way, man, Tracy Coletta, the craziest member train. I have to say. That's the issue of time capsules, says Mongeeses. Also, you know, the crazy thing about time capsules is they get dug up once. It's rare that you, like, put them back down again. Also, yeah, okay, you know what, they should... I'm gonna make a time capsule, and I'm gonna put some footage of a war. I'm gonna put some explicit pictures, and I'm gonna put my most embarrassing moment in there, so that someone from the future can go, oh, but I understand. I won't do that now. Some people are becoming members right now. Yeah, it was a big gifted batch, Mr. Firebirdie. But they're good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. I've had a good day myself. I've got some clam juice. I got my fishing rod. I'm picking up enchanted books that'll go in my collection. Like, multi-shot is actually a really cool one to have. I feel like I don't have a multi-shot yet. So, I'm going to go put it right in my collection right now, just to show you where it's going, actually. For anyone who's curious why I want all these books. Besides completion, because one of the fun things I think everyone gets to at some point is this idea of like, yeah, I would like to complete an aspect of Minecraft. And, you know, who can blame people for wanting that? Anne Boleyn had 6 fingers. You know, I don't believe that. Get in the car. That's too many fingers. Wait, no, that's too few fingers. She's missing 4. That's someone needs to talk to her about that. So we'll find M, multi-shot. Multi-shot must be after mending. Oh, we've already got some multi-shots. Oh, wow. So yeah, I put the multi-shot in here. And then we can take our fire aspect 2 and our loyalty. And we look and we see like, okay, we probably already have both fire aspects. So fire aspect would come after feather falling, but before Frostwalker. So here it is. We don't have a fire aspect, so we put it in there. Or we say that loyalty, which is going to be over L. We don't have a loyalty free yet, probably because it's a really good enchantment, so we put that there. And deciding which of these go where is why we want to get all the enchanted books first. It just makes sense, right? By the way, I got a bunch of member messages. Caitlin Smith says, oh cool, I have one of these too. 3 month babies. Wait, 3 months baby. Congratulations, Caitlin Smith. Jake Riley says, if you get cancelled, hope they don't go digging up the Church of the Wither controversy from back in the day. I hope not too. The trick is, right, so there's 2 ways you can deal with a cancellation. One is to back down to make people just leave you alone. And the other is to say, no, actually, I don't agree with your cancellation attempt. Even if it's something terrible, it's like, you don't have to learn your lesson from something. The problem is that people take that to the extreme and they say, oh, well, if you don't agree with our cancellation, we'll start ruining your life until you do. Kind of like vigilante justice, being like, you don't get to work in your job because we will harass your employer until it doesn't become worthwhile to continue hiring you. We will harass your apartment people, we'll harass, etc., etc. And so as long as you don't have a real person job, as long as you ideally don't let people know which apartment building you live in, then you can solve a lot of the problems. And ultimately, that's the way the world largely works. You have to learn and improve yourself. If you try and force people to improve, you don't make them improve, you make them good at hiding the things they're doing wrong. I think that's a mistake we always make. Like, it seems so obvious that the way that you solve someone being bad is like, well, if a child's being bad, you yell at it, and then the child stops being bad. It's like, well, we all respond much better to positive feedback than to negative in general. So why would we assume other people respond better to negative than positive? And the answer is because we're dumb. But I mean, like, what else is new, I guess? I hate when the XP just goes into the water. Yeah, it's a really weird one, huh? It doesn't feel right, but yeah. The good news is my pickaxe is slowly healing. But yeah, I'm just gonna move around the world a bit, go for a bit of a walk, as we do this fishing. It's the fun thing about fishing. You can be as active or as inactive as you like. If you want to go mining, you can't sit in one spot and mine if you want to. You are stuck into the idea of no. Your member total hasn't gone up. Is it supposed to automatically? Riley, good to see you, by the way. Jake Riley, even. I've made that mistake before, but I read the last name and I'm like, well, there's only one first name here, and so yeah, anyway. But to answer your question, Jake, I used to count gifted members, but it meant that we would have large swings up and down, and I think a lot of people. There's something about seeing it slowly tick up that's more satisfying than... Like, right now, there's maybe 60 people who have a gifted membership. When you get a gifted membership, it immediately buys and then cancels. So, it adds one and then immediately removes one. And so, rather than adding it and then having to remove it when their 30 days turns up, I stick to the idea of just, okay, let's have it actually match up with... to me, it makes more sense for it to match up with the time, the number of people who have become members. When you gift a membership, you're giving someone a free trial of membership, and I get some cut of that. It's like a tip, effectively. Whereas when as you would know as a member, like the recurringness is the biggest benefit to the creator. And so a gifted membership doesn't have the recurring element, and so it's not a membership. It's a trial, it's something like that. I agree with the sentiment. Yeah, I think progression in general, people feel much better about, like, slowly ticking up rather than, like, oh, up, down, up, down. Like, if I went fishing right now and then the fishing bobber just took 5 fish from me, or one of my enchanted books, I'd feel real bad. We have it's called loss aversion. We have this, we feel better about gains than we feel worse about gains than we feel good, we feel worse about losing things than we do about equivalently sized gains. If you gain a pound and lose a pound, you'd figure they'd have the same emotional impact. Or so. We just got feather falling and piercing. But we feel so much worse when we lose something than when we gain something. And for an example of this, how good do you feel when you get paid every month? You do all that work. You do all that stuff for someone somewhere. Whatever you're doing to make money. You do that stuff. And at the end of the month, you're like, oh yeah, here's that money I expected. Whereas if you lose £10, you can be distraught. I assume you almost... Also, thank you for becoming a member, James Spillers even. I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully today. Welcome to our new wife. Everyone say, thank you, James Spillers. It's been a little bit since we gamed a member. So let's make sure they are welcome to the club. I think streaming is just busking from your bedroom/office, says Vandasar Gaming. Isn't that weird that is true, it became that way. I think this is always like a brag people do about something, like, I did it before you made money. But I really did streaming before it was like a way to make money in a way. It was just like, oh yeah, it's like a fun thing you can do. Some people might find the stream and watch it and like... in the same way, if you're a musical artist, you might busk not because you want money, but because you want people to find out about you and then maybe like post about it on social media. Like for anyone who feels bad, like obviously most people's favorite currency is cash. But for helping out a streamer, if you're not already subscribed, if you're not just watching a video every day makes a difference, and also then helps with the momentum effect of like the snowball effect. The more people are watching, the more people YouTube assumes should be watching, etc. So yeah, it's one of those important things. Also, oh no, I can't see my fishing bobber. Okay, I'm trapped in this. Okay, I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna do it. Did I get it? I don't think I got it. Okay, it's real hard to fish when you can't see the bobber. So there have been buskers who have made a huge name for themselves in the same way streamers have become famous. It's I think putting it like busking is interesting because I feel like there's a weird like understanding when people watch buskers that they're doing it like, yeah, they would like it if you tipped them with some money because they are there entirely free besides the money that people give them. Whereas I feel like in streaming there's a weird... I agree with it. I would feel strange if a streamer's like, oh yeah, how's everyone doing? Anyone got a couple spare pids? Spare quids? Got it eventually. It's an interesting idea, but yeah, I guess it's, if you think about it, it's an online busking, but my talent is not playing an instrument, or, you know, should we do a little stand? Okay, right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do, what if I was busking on the street and I wanted to make some money, here's my best bet. I'd be like, how's it going, everyone? It's ibxtoycat back at it again with a offline Let's Play number 573. So you can't see the Minecraft right now, but just imagine I'm fishing. I'm just kidding. That's a good idea though, right? And I feel like you'd have to like do like the comedy style, like, you know, ask the audience like, so how's it going, Jacqueline Clifford? Clifford, that's like the red dog, huh? Wow, haha, what a great audience, terrific. I can't hear you clapping. Physical performing has all these like, not cringe, but like, these things that everyone does even though they hate doing and hate listening to because like, it somehow works. Like to this day, I can't stand going to any live show. The person has to be like, let's get a round of applause. Oh, you can do better than that. And it's like, rude. Wow, maybe I can't. Maybe that's the hardest I can
Better
play.
way to pay my toy cat tax. Celebrating a new job.
Thank you, Cheeky Fox. What's your new job? I'm excited for you. I appreciate your tip, but I'm very curious. It's you're one of the longer term peoples we see on the streams here. I'm very curious. I really hate that, says James Splitters. I've yet to meet someone who's like, I really love it when the artist pretends they couldn't hear us clapping, even though we clapped very loudly because they just wanted us to clap slightly louder. But the dumb thing is people do clap louder, so it clearly is, someone's enjoying it. Someone's getting something from it somewhere. But yeah, the weird thing, I would feel okay about that. If and only if, occasionally at some point, there was an artist that was like, oh wow, that was louder than I was expecting. You guys must be really excited. You know, like I feel like the moment, like again, for something to be, so in my opinion, for something to be bold enough to be worth saying, the opposite must be something that someone would say at some point. Like, I don't know, what's you can't have a real opinion on something unless it's like, well, the opposite has to be something valid. Like saying, oh yeah, I really love, you know, like the joke I make is always I'm anti-murder. No one ever says like I'm pro-murder. It sounds like it's, you know, you might sound like you're on board with it, but you're kind of not. There's a lot of kind of meaningless epithets that come out of there. Also, will you ever wear cat ears on stream, says Fern? You know what, if you think about it, as I am always a cat, I always have cat ears. Never heard someone say, y'all, we are way too excited. Wouldn't mind if you pipe down your enthusiasm a little bit. Oh, I know what I'm doing. You know what? I don't assume I'll ever get to the point where I'm doing live shows in person. But if I am, I'm gonna be like, whoa, everyone, calm down. Bring that excitement down several levels. This is not acceptable. Don't enjoy this at all. But yeah, it's called warming up a crowd. And the reason people do it, by the way, I'm curious. If you've ever been curious, it's not like that the world is out to, you know, just be bad. By the way, 435 members. Isn't that fun? We got a milestone in. I'm excited. Oh, I also got a chicken. When did I get the chicken? I felt we hit 600 members via the gifted, you know, like Insanity last year. Maybe the year before that. But it's been cool to like slowly work the way back through the 400s. And again, this time it's like it's going up constantly rather than like up. Did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He will stop at nothing to avoid them. It's a good joke, Polly E. Good joke. 10 out of 10. The reason they warm up crowds, says Fat Hairless Cat. The reason, so it's called warming up a crowd, and the reason they do it is because once you've laughed once, you're more able to laugh again. There's this weird, and I feel it, like if you're objectively analyzing yourself, when someone's speaking to you, especially when someone's like telling a joke or is like doing some musical performance, You want to be like, oh, this isn't actually that good. If you watch any live experience, if you watch this live stream right now, if the expectation of like, he's just a guy talking to his camera, ultimately, there's nothing I could do right now that would make me not just a guy talking to my camera. There is, even if this was the best YouTube gaming stream that exists on the platform for this moment, if I had the most interesting thing to say, the best advice, the funniest anecdote, if you look at it and you say, it's just a guy, if you're cynical about anything in the entertainment space, because entertainment kind of relies on a big part of us to connect with the thing, if you don't care, if you don't do it, yeah. If you could watch the best, you could, have you ever looked at good art? If you don't understand what art is, if you're not primed for it, it doesn't work. If you watch the, I don't know, if you watch the 7th episode of the best show of all time without seeing the previous 6, you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to be confused at all the stuff happening. Whereas if you go into something wanting to enjoy it, it's great. I declare this as the best YouTube gaming stream on the platforms. This Stacey Sams. You know what, Stacey Sams, thank you very much. It's official, it's true. I was saying that like it wasn't true, even though we all know that it is. Best stream out there. But yeah, it's if you go into something cynically, you won't have a good time. If you go into something like stoically trying to not enjoy it, like it's so much easier to not enjoy things than it is to enjoy things. If you let your guard down, then you can enjoy, you can love, you can experience. Whereas if you just like go, yeah, not impressed. It's easy to do. That's why if you ever look at like critics of any industry, art critics, movie critics, food critics, they don't just go into the restaurants and go, yeah, the food was bad, didn't like it at all. It's supposedly the tastiest thing in the world, but it tastes not even good. It's very easy to say that something should be good, but it's not. Also, it was good to see you, Jacqueline Clifford. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Fat Hellas Cat says that's really interesting. You know what? Right now, like open yourself up, open your heart, open your mind, your soul a little bit to be like, you know, actually, there's 200 people here, 280 something people here enjoying this right now. Either they're all crazy, or you know, if you just joined this as your first stream somehow, very weird stream to join for the first time. But just open up, like maybe there is something that they enjoy that I don't see. It's possible that they're wrong. It's possible that everyone watching is wrong, and that I'm wrong for thinking this is a stream worth coming along to. You know, I'm wasting my time doing something that no one will enjoy. But it's more likely, the balance of probabilities is that is true. And so rather than coming into it trying to work out why it's not, because if you want to find a reason as to why any piece of entertainment is bad, there's trillions of pieces of it out there. We clicked on the video with free will, says Alex C. I mean, you could argue the algorithm doesn't really give you... There's a debate about free will and computer algorithms, because if we have true free will to decide, then, you know, like, think about Google search. This is the basic layer. Google worked out how to do good web search before anyone else. And then they said, the way we're going to make money is we'll just charge people to appear at the top via these sponsored links. Everyone knows they're sponsored. They're people paying to be there. And so if you were thinking about it logically, when you search something, you wouldn't want to hit the sponsored link. You want to find the thing that is the best search, not the people who pay the most. Usually, it's very rare anyone consciously says, I don't want the best result. I want the person most willing to pay for me to click on their link. Again, whether that's right or wrong is a different question. But yeah, because Google just does some subtle, tiny changes. They make it yellow. They make the font slightly bigger. You know, they highlight it. Just these tiny, tiny, tiny changes makes you go from, why would you click on the sponsored link, to, oh, it's there. I'll click it. It's in front of me. And so the same is true on the YouTube algorithm. They've worked... YouTube has trained a bunch of computers with one goal. The goal is make users spend more time on YouTube. A good algorithm is one that makes you want to watch more videos, and a bad algorithm is one that doesn't. And so that algorithm is not trying to lead you down a rabbit hole. It's not trying to make you watch any type of video or not watch any type of video. It's solely saying, what keeps you here the longest. Sometimes that's for negative reasons. Sometimes it, like it's a well-known thing that the negativity bias we have means you will spend more time consuming information about fear and distrust than you will about positive things. It was like I was saying, it's so much easier to hate than to enjoy. If you want to watch this, if you want to find a reason to dislike me, I mean, just look at me right now. Look at my hair. Look at my slightly wrongly colored shirt. I think it's acceptable to, like look at my green screen even. It doesn't perfectly work if you really pay attention to it. My gameplay quality, I mean, I'm playing Bedrock Minecraft. Like, what am I doing playing that version of the game? Don't I know that every other major Minecraft YouTuber plays Java? Oh, crazy. And so it's easy to find reasons to dislike something. It's harder to find reasons to like something because we have a bias. And it's like if you think about, again, in life, if you go into it, if there was a 50-50 chance of a bush either having the best thing that you've ever seen in there or a 50% chance of killing you, you should never go in that bush, because the best thing you ever seen, you valuing your life over good things makes sense, because the best thing that you can have on an evolutionary level is just like surviving, spreading your genes, something. So anyway, the point is to say is that it's easy to hate, it's really hard to like, and so sometimes that YouTube algorithm that's designed, it gives you free will. It just says, here are 12 videos, more or less. On your TV, I think it's more like 8. On a mobile phone, you get about 3, and you have to scroll for the rest. It says, here are a few videos. If you'd like to watch them, we assume that you would like to watch at least one of these. And so by just presenting you with videos, it gives you, the user, the opportunity, pure free will to pick between them, right? Or pure free will to say, I don't want to watch any of these videos, and type in the search bar, man destroys entire ancient city, or, whatever it is. Like, you can, if you want to, you can watch, like anything that you want to. But they know that when they send something to you, it's going to be good enough that you're going to go, nah, I'll watch one of these. The fact that you arrived on this very stream, some of you had notifications turned on, but most of you, I don't have the numbers with me right now, but a number that will shock you if you saw it will have arrived here via your homepage, because YouTube assumes you would like to watch it. And so the fact that they can make that assessment is already pretty bonkers, if you ask me. But going a ibxtoycat videos instantly, says Chinkin. Thank you, Chinkin. Haha, this thumbnail and types are incredible, says person without username. I'm glad you're liking it. I had notifications, there's Stacey Sams. If everyone had notifications, the world would be a better place. Or maybe a worse place. But yeah, so like if you think about it, subscriptions and notifications are the two things you can use to say, no, I would like to pick the videos here, YouTube. I know that you have your idea of what would be better for me, but I'll pick myself. You could use YouTube search, you could use subscriptions and notifications. Those three things alone would allow anyone to enjoy everything on YouTube. But if you, the interesting thing about, level 30! Do I want that right now? Is that good? Anyway, thoughts on how creators treat the algorithm as some kind of unknowable boogeyman, says Monkeys. So here's something interesting about the idea of algorithms on social media. We treat them like deities. We treat them like they are beings with unknowable goals. In the same way that you'd have been like, there was a crop failure this year, I guess God doesn't like me. If you put your heart and soul into a video that you know is good, that you know that people would love if they would click it, and then they don't, we blame it on the algorithm today. And that is an interesting, it's an interesting flaw we all have, right? A good thing about the algorithm is I don't get suggestions for things I definitely won't like. I get suggestions for things I definitely won't like. YouTube just tries me every now and then, like, how about this? You might like it. I got recommended a video of 13 views of a man being like, oh yeah, people are so impolite these days. And it's him like letting someone continue to come down a one-way street. Not like one-way street, like a road where you have to only go one person at a time. And they're like, she didn't even thank me. People these days. And it's like, whoa, okay, weird video to recommend me. What a waste of my 20 seconds. And then after it, I read the comments and the man's got like, yeah, and they're always from that part of the world too, aren't they? And I was like, oh, man's making some racial point about someone not thanking him as he's doing something in a car. Why did YouTube assume this was good for me? And the answer is, YouTube has to balance a lot of interests. And it's not just you as a viewer and what you would most like to watch. It might so happen that they achieve an algorithm that makes you want to trust it in some ways. But they've also got to balance a few things. One of those is making sure they get creators on the platform. TikTok did something crazy where they didn't just prioritize for what an individual would want to watch. They prioritize showing new creators to people regularly so that anyone feels like they can create TikTok videos. And some people are real bad at making TikToks. But the influx of views that you get make you go, oh yeah, wow, this is real good. And then, so having new creators on there meant that YouTube has to do things like showing me that 13 view video, just in case. That was the incredible thing. Also, by the way, Chris H wanted today's thumbnail, says Dasher. Chris H, I've got the all the copies of it, if you're curious. My favorite non-Minecraft channel is the Stradman. Did you find it via searching, or did YouTube recommend it to you? So yeah, do you really have free will though? If YouTube knows that showing you these videos, like you think you know what video you want to watch until YouTube recommends you a different one. There are videos that you think you want to watch, but YouTube knows mathematically you will skip out of in the first 10 minutes or so. And so it's going to say, yeah, let's not recommend them that. And then you don't watch it and you're happier. In the set, it's, we all like to believe we have full free will. But if there are people scientifically trying to advance their goals at the expense of yours, do you? I know it's an easy thing to think. I've noticed that I'm getting recommended very low view count videos that I'm not interested in lately. It's because with a low view count video, YouTube has no way of being able to tell, is this actually good, or, you know, like, who is this for, etc., etc. They're kind of having to, like, they need more data, and so it would be very hard to ever get those videos in the algorithm, unless they just try randomly. That's how I understand it, at least I'm kind of guessing, I'm filling in the blanks with what I believe is happening on YouTube. Crafty Mossmine says, I found the song, if you still don't know what it's called, but I don't have to send you says Crafty Mossman. Good to see you. We're talking about the algorithm right now, and the idea that people think they have full free will until an algorithm works out that it knows them better than they do. I dump the interesting stuff in Watch Later and watch it whenever. Yeah, I don't actually use Watch Later. I think I should, but do videos get removed from there when you watch them? I don't know. I just have never gotten involved with it. Maybe wrongly so. I only use my subscriptions feed anyway. The problem with the subscriptions feed is it just doesn't feel good. I don't know. I don't understand what that is. I feel like when YouTube first brought out the homepage, they deliberately were like, yeah, and so we're gonna make this as, you know, like, we're gonna make this subscription feed not the preferred way to use the site. Because it used to be fun, like you found a new YouTuber, you put them on your own homepage. But when you were curating the site yourself, when you were finding your own videos, you would like YouTube less. Isn't that insane? That a robot just with one goal can be trained to make a better website for you than you can make a website for you. I think the same thing about, like, they've tried this for a lot of things. An interesting example to me, I'm not a wine person, but they can do this with wines. Wines are famously one of those things where there's a trillion different variations of wine. Also, Mum found the poop troll.
If we don't have full will, who is forcing me to pick my nose and eat my boogers? Checkmate deniers.
Okay, Mum the poop drawer. Mum found the poop drawer. So based on your username and your message combined, I can say the reason that you're picking your boogers and eating them. By the way, you know, like, people will shame you for that, but what's really so bad about it, besides that you're inside of your nose, because it, like, functions as like an air filtration flap. It's where all the outside stuff goes. Like, it's only gross socially speaking. And so, like, you know, you do you. I'm not going to judge you. And the reason that you're doing it is because it's a habit that you think to yourself, why should I let other people tell me what to do? Which is why your name is called Mum Found the Pooch. And so, yeah, you are deciding, but you're deciding based on your criteria that you picked up at some point. You know, you want to do not what society says, maybe because at some point, someone in society, someone somewhere did something that made you lose trust in the very idea, that made you not want to conform to it. Someone abused their power, their situation, there's something like that. But yeah, I think it's because I only watch YouTube on my TV, so the usual front page isn't there. Oh, YouTube on my TV makes it really hard to find subscriptions. Like, you might be... Maybe your TV is different to my TV. My TV has, like... It's so hard for me to find subscriptions on there, which is why I watch so much homepage. I got recommended a random 13-year-old YouTube Otherkin Kids channel. I want to know what YouTube thinks I watch. Apparently YouTube on TV is very popular now. Yeah, I make my videos under the assumption that people watch on TV or mobile only. I used to make the assumption everyone was watching on a PC, but it stops being true. And that's one of those incredible things that, like, shows that YouTube is ahead of the game. Rather than like, oh, impaling and mending. I can make the best trident now. I don't think I'm going to want to. But it's nice that I can. I think it's fine if you wash your hands right after you pick. Just maybe don't do it in front of people. Yeah, the actual gross thing about doing it is, like, other people... Like, the thing that people are offended about, but basically everything bad in life, is a lot of people would like to believe that people don't do something. Or kind of understanding that they do. Like, I know what's a good example of this. Like, if you make a sandwich for someone... Okay, yeah, it is an interesting one. I've seen people go into Subway and be mad that the person isn't using gloves. And because they feel like gloves are safer. And so the person, I believe Subway has, like, the option. You can ask them nicely. They can put on some new gloves. It's a whole thing. And so, or rather they can put on their gloves. But it's actually way worse. Because if you just, you know, if you wash your hands every time, your hands are clean. You don't need gloves. But people are like, no. Hands are gross. Looking at a hand, you don't know when it was washed. Looking at a glove, you feel like it was done recently. So there are all sorts of, like, feelings that we have about things that are... it's concentrated disease. I worked there once, can confirm. Yeah, I had a friend who worked at Subway, James Spellers. Maybe it's you, James. You ever consider? Anyway, everyone picks their nose and scratches their butt, but pretend they don't. And everyone pees in the shower, besides about 40% of people who are horrified at the idea. There are people... I didn't realize how much of society basically has to function on this idea of, like, don't ask, don't tell when it comes to hygiene. You know how some people feel about... it's a really controversial issue when it comes to the world of, like, you know, romantic partners and sexualities and everything. But some people are, like, genuinely great with it all, but they're just like, but I don't want to see it still. And people think that's, like, a bigoted opinion. It's like, no, you're not allowed to not want to see something. If it exists, then you have to acknowledge it exists. But people who are, like, bad with hygiene, or, sorry, rather, people who have, what's the word? People who are, like, very germophobic, we need to cater the whole world around pretending that there are no germs and no one does anything gross. Yep, no one ever scratches their butt and then touches anything else. No one ever, you know, like, does anything gross ever. And so because otherwise those people, like, if you think about the mind of a germophobic person, it's like, yeah, how do you stay in a hotel? A hotel, also, did that bird just light himself on fire? Fun. But yeah, from the perspective of someone who's germophobic, it's like, yeah, the world is terrible, and we all overwashing is also not good and can reduce your own skin barrier. Yeah, the correct thing to do is you get a new pair of gloves every single time. It's like you're putting on a new pair of hands. I have chronic illness and communication disorder called aphasia. Oh, I know aphasia, I feel like. Get in the car. Sorry to hear that you have it, assuming you don't want it. If you want it, I'm happy to hear you have it. Oh, I realized we got a bamboo because we're fishing in the jungle. Fishing in the jungle might therefore be a slightly worse bet than fishing somewhere else. So let's go. By the way, that's my cherry mansion over there. That's my very tall cactus. I have a lot of very silly things in this world. I realize that as I go around it sometimes. I think society as a whole has become too clean. That's why people get sick all the time. Do you know there's a similar... So I do think that is definitely true. There's no doubt about the fact that people... Let me find the right words for this. People who are hiding themselves from things that are like hiding yourself from germs doesn't work. It just means you get more immune. You want to have ideally just the right amount of exposure. The idea of a vaccine is you get a small amount of infected, so you don't have to get a big amount of infected. We're effectively having like natural vaccines to things all the time. And so people who shield themselves from society are really, really weak at it. Because bugs are always evolving, so we need to evolve with them. It's like having a 30-year out-of-date antivirus. You're gonna die. It's terrible. Assuming you don't want to die, that is. And so, yeah, a similar thing happens with peanut allergies. As too many people are like leaning into peanut allergies and not letting their children be exposed to peanuts, which then makes the peanut allergy worse because. So now there's a whole breed of people that didn't exist 2 generations ago, who, because when they had a bad reaction to peanuts, their parents hid peanuts from them. Now they will die if they're exposed to peanuts. Like trying to prevent something bad from happening can prevent something horrific, or rather can lead to something horrific happening. Can stop preventing something horrific. One of the things I think about the world, if there's one message to get across today, it's that I think we often forget a lot of bad things don't just happen randomly because we wouldn't know. It's impossible for us to fix them. A lot of bad things happen so that horrific things do not. You can try and stop the bad thing, but sometimes you'll make something much worse. I think that's a surprisingly important lesson. I bet city people have the best immune systems. Yeah, every now and then I watch a show like I watched You, the serial killer show on Netflix. Spoiler. And there's a girl in there who's like, oh yeah, you have to wash your hands if you've been on the subway. I can't be dealing with that gross stuff. But it's like an interesting point that yeah, for most people it's very normal, very expected even, that like yeah, you're gonna touch those railings. Of course you're going to. But for some people that's like gross, that's horrific. Like, oh, you touched the railing? You touched the thing that everyone else touches all of the time? And again, it's all about, society is kind of about like, how do we let those people live around everyone else? And the answer is, we all pretend at the same time, and then it all goes away magically. So I went on one of the first words, and the building skills, one of my first words, my building skills have definitely improved. Embarrassing to know that you used to be like that way. I missed the username, but you've got an orange profile picture there. Yeah, self-improvement is important. That's kind of the point I'm saying there, is like, rather than pretending that perfection is immediately reachable, because it so rarely is, except that good is great, and if you just slightly improve good every single day, you'll trend towards perfection. You'll trend in the correct direction. Whereas if you try to be a perfectionist, if you try to feel like you can do no wrong, then yeah, you'll go terribly. I'm hyped for bundles this update. Also, Fun says the treatment for OCD is just doing the thing too. Yeah, I used to have pretty bad, like, I don't want to say anxiety, because people say anxiety to mean everything. Like, oh, I have social anxiety. It's like, yeah, everyone feels nervous about being in new situations socially. Like, yeah, you might mess it up. It might go terribly. You might have a joke that you say be misheard, and now everyone thinks that you're joking about genociding a whole group of people. Like, everyone gets nervous about social situations. That is an incredibly normal thing. But if you say to yourself, I have social anxiety, you stop that being a weakness that you have, a thing inside of you, like a weakness that you can work on, and you start it being an immutable characteristic. You start it becoming something that, like, yeah, well, like, I can't, no one can fix the facts that they're short. Like, no one can change the fact that they are human. You might believe that you are, like, there are some facts that you just can't change. And so by putting something like, yeah, I get easily anxious, you start to reinforce that way, versus you could say to yourself, like, oh, why do I get nervous? Also, if I'm here anyway, I need to heal up this pickaxe. So let's grab some melons and let's sell them to some people. Here is some melons. We'll put like 4 of those back away, and let's sell them to some guys who will give me some emeralds. Will you give me some emeralds? You better give me some emeralds. Will you give me some emeralds? I really just want the experience. You could keep the emeralds for all I care. I'm just here to make my pickaxe slightly better off than it was before. But yeah, chat, what is something about you that you thought was impossible to solve, but at some point you have solved? What is something that you've gone through that is kind of like, yeah, do you have anything like that? I'd like to hear some examples from you. But I think we all have things that we can let trickily define us. But you've got to be real careful not to let a weakness become a thing you think is you, because then you'll let it stay that way. This is why I don't accept the label of fat. I'm not fat. I have a little bit of extra storage, says Jamie. Yeah, I think a lot of people see the world of diet as like, this is the thing about, like, when you want perfectionism, if you look at like the perfect body shape or whatever, or even just me, I feel like when YouTube, when I have a struggle in a personal life, when I'm having a bad day, when I'm feeling not good about myself, I can let it just be like, why am I this way? Last night I had to share something very, very real and recent. I couldn't sleep last night, and I had some like dark thoughts in there. I was having a bad time, and I think a lot of people are very quick to be like, wow. One of the thoughts is like, oh, why is this just me? Is my life now just me spending time in bed, laying there, not sleeping? It sure feels like that's my life now. It feels like rather than enjoying my time and being fully conscious, I have to be just, like, it sucked. It felt bad. However, it's important to, like, knock yourself out of that, or knock that out of yourself. Do you think you can combine 2 Curse of Vanishing 1s and get Curse of Vanishing 2, by the way? It'd be nice if you could. I got a real good rod here, if I don't mind that it will vanish if I die. Anyway, I currently am able to be on one-on-one and small group without feeling like I'm going to die. Panic attacks are a real thing. Yeah, exactly. It's that's why it's something worth growing through and learning. I watched should we talk about it's very rare I talk about anything YouTube drama related, but I saw a video about a YouTuber I used to be very familiar with called Boogie298 Stairs. Someone diving through his financial history. And like, this is someone who I used to think like, oh yeah, this is like just a nice guy, like he's got issues with food addiction or something, but he's just a fairly swell guy. But something about hearing someone be like, like someone is breaking down every problem they have for them, and they're being like, oh yeah, totally agree. But then once they're actually suggesting they change something about it, they're like, oh, well, it'd be impossible to change something. Like, like it's actually cheaper to eat like Arby's every day than it is to eat groceries. Like, I feel the instincts on it. It's like it's a shared thing. Like, have you ever felt like, yeah, when you buy groceries, you spend like £50 at a time, whereas when you buy fast food, it costs you £15 at a time or £10 at a time. Like, when you look at the money spent to bring food into the home versus the money spent to buy food out, it feels cheaper because less money leaves at once. It activates your pain reflex less. But also it doesn't make it true. And so the thing that, you know, the negative quality that I saw in the whole thing is like realizing, whoa, yeah, it's much easier to feel bad about yourself than to actually change. Yeah, feeling bad about yourself is giving yourself the out. When you say I am bad, you give yourself the out to change that. When you that's the real sneaky thing about it. It's not just that by saying it you are allowing it to happen. By saying it, you are making it inevitable that it'll happen. And so, what's the point in trying? Being defeatist is not just I don't know, bad for results. It's also kind of lazy. One of the things that I say a lot, when I started YouTube, the YouTubers that I was surrounded by, none of them exist anymore. My first YouTuber friend does not make YouTuber videos anymore. My second YouTuber friend, I don't know what happened to them. They went rogue for a bit, then they started making videos again, and then they stopped again recently. My third YouTuber friend is, I think, in prison. It might be a civil settlement right now. It's they're involved in some very seriously. They haven't made videos in years, and they legally cannot have a YouTube channel. But my fourth YouTuber friend, they're gone. My fifth, they're gone. The sixth, I think, makes GTA videos, but I haven't checked on them in a while. I honestly didn't like them very much as a person. But like all of these people vanished because on YouTube. On YouTube, what happens is every year, basically, the platform says, yeah, the previous standard to do well is now the standard to do okay. The previous standard to do okay is your standard to do terribly, and the previous standard to do terribly is the standard where 8 people might find your videos by accident. An okay video from 2010 is a bad video in 2015, is a video that would be, why would you even upload now? You would be wasting everyone's time, yourself included. Crafty Mossman says, how do you find making YouTube friends? It's a tricky thing because you both have to let your guard down to the idea that like, you have something to gain from your friendship. This is the thing about networking that's like really hard in general. Is some people try real hard, and if they come off too strong, you're like, oh yeah, they just want something from me. And it's like, ideally, you need to both come into it and just be like, yeah, let's see if we are compatible as people. And then later, if there happens to be some way we can mutually benefit from the fact that we enjoy each other's company, that would be great. I have a lot of YouTube friends, but it still doesn't make sense to collab in most cases. Even in a lot of cases, we're like, yeah, we should do that. It doesn't mean you still need a lot of input to make it happen. It's like any other friendship. I disagree with the whole rising expectations. Sometimes the pendulum can swing the other way. I would love to know how you think that the pendulum has swung the other way, in a way where videos now have to be worse than they used to be. I would say could be worse on a viewer experience, but they require more effort. I saw a comment from a channel called like 1 Block a Day. Interest on a video, something recently. I think they're called like Daily Blocks or something. I'm sorry if I'm getting that channel wrong. They have a few 100,000 subscribers. They're British, and they said something like, they said nowadays to be successful on YouTube, you have to be a CEO. It resonated with me. It stuck with me. It's something I want to use for. I think I might even use it in a video. It's like but they said being a good YouTuber now doesn't mean being good at editing, being good block facts, thank you. The comment like resonated because it's like, yeah, you are becoming the CEO of a small business, which means you cannot succeed on YouTube unless you either have an upload schedule of once a month or less, or you outsource your editing, you outsource a lot of cases people outsource like the worlds themselves. There's that one guy who's outsourced his own voice to a AI generated thing. True, you have to be a company. Like, I could not do what I do on YouTube right now. Like, it's taken me years to get to this point where I have like 3 people that I trust closely on this main channel. I've got 2 editors here that we speak to every single day. I've got an assistant. You know, we have like, and that alone allows it to be like, yeah, every day I think we make a pretty good video. But even then, you might look at it and say, well, I mean, is it you know, that good? 10 years ago, every one of these videos would be like, whoa, you see that? Whereas I think now, shout out to Harrison. Yeah, Harrison killed it. I think in 5 years, the videos I'm uploading now, you might look at and go, meh, yeah, you would never grow a YouTube channel with that. I think the standard is always going up, personally. Before I could talk, I decided I would try until I could refutably prove that something was impossible, and now either succeed or find a reason my objective was stupid. Harrison and Ash and the mysterious assistant. Exactly. Who more do you need in life? But then, you know, like, and then on top of that, that's like the core of it, right? Then we have Deshi, we have, you know, like Cat. Without Cat, these streams devolve into chaos. Without Deshi, the maps can't be updated, because I don't understand the update system on the marketplace, but he gets it great. We have a lot of people required to keep things ticking over. And that's, you know, with me putting in the... I guess this is almost sounding like me being like, yeah, I put in a lot of what I do. I like what I do. I love it a lot. But I also acknowledge, like, yeah, there's a lot more required now than before. Anyway, Adorable Ho makes some pretty good builds. Yeah, I've been meaning to... Adorable Ho is one of those people I would love. I think he's, like, self-professed, like, man. He's really good at what he does, but he's got real high standards for himself. He's got the perfectionism problem of, like, if he starts something... It might be a month till it's finished because he wants to do it right. And then sometimes it's like, why even work on something if he doesn't think he can do it right? So he might spend a week not working on something. It's a problem I can understand. I mean, I've only recently started outsourcing stuff because I've been overprotective of my content for years. Oh yeah, I was the same. You know, it took me years till I could accept that I should have an editor. Because like, but they're not going to do it the same way I do. Every YouTuber I speak to, I'm like, you should just get an editor. They're like, but I don't know. They wouldn't know. Only I know how to make the things that I make. But yeah, it's a hard thing to outsource. Every now and then, if there's a mistake in editing, it makes it look like it's a mistake that I made in my video. It's like sometimes the reverse happens. Like Harrison is so good that he catches more mistakes than like are made, if that makes any sense. Like for every mistake that might come out from an edit, Harrison will catch a mistake in mine and we can fix it. There was a video today where there was a whole section missing because I forgot to upload a video. Today's video about killing a lot of mobs is one that was really fun to do. I kill all of the hardest mobs and tried to teach you how to do it in the best way possible. But there's a whole section in there. There's an odd feeling to outsourcing parts of your art, says Vandesar Gaming. To me, it is true. I could never... One of the things a lot of YouTubers try to do is they outsource the presentation. And it's like, this YouTube channel is me. It is both me curating what goes up on it, but it's me talking to you about that thing I'm excited about. But yeah, I think it takes a lot of trust to let someone just, you know, like have free reign on editing something for your channel. But also it's very important to do it at some point. You know, like, I know I'm talking a little bit business here. But, you know, speaking of business, did you know that YouTubers make money when people who watch those streams give them some? And if you have £2 and feel like being generous today, do you know what you could do? You could have a message that would show up on screen. It would be great. Look, see, that's me being a business person. I think that's another weird thing is like kind of being uncomfortable about stuff like that also makes it harder. You have to be like confident about what you're doing. One of the things I did like long before, one of my first like successful stream things was like, I did a stream, a big project, and I'm like, by the end of the stream, I want to be 1,000-aire. You know, people brag about being a millionaire. I want to be 1,000-aire. Everyone, we just need 500 people to tip £2 each. And it was like one of the most like successful streams I'd done in forever. It was crazy. Being unashamed about saying, yes, I am doing what I am doing, and this is the reason why. People like Rosie Farrow becoming a member, thank you for 44 months, is incredible. Speaking of money, I can't wait for YouTube Great Depression to hit in January. I feel like the YouTube, it used to be that in January, it was like, oh God, how do I do this full time? And December was like, oh yeah, I am making bank. I feel like it's much less so in the last few years. I think YouTube is better at smoothing out those curves. Whether it's artificial or whether it's natural, whether they just have more ad slots to fill, I don't know. According to Google, you're a millionaire. Wow, I can't believe I'm a millionaire. No one even told me. I'm actually tracking. This is one of those weird things. But I feel like... Do you think most people who are millionaires know they're millionaires, chat? E-mugging is e-mugging. Yeah, that was one of my favorite bits, right? Like, was like, people do something called e-begging a lot, which is like, guys, I need... This is the thing I was complaining about, the YouTuber I just mentioned. Like, their whole shtick is like, I need money. If I don't have money, I won't be able to pay to eat. Chat, it's terrible. So I'm like, no. Rather than e-begging, it's an e-mugging. Put your hands in the air, put your credit card details in the Streamlabs right now. This is an e-mugging. Get if you give me your money right now, you won't be harmed. But just a warning, I feel like it's a funny bit. It's one of my favorite little goofy bits. But it's like, yeah, it's the idea is fun, is solid. Also, I've got a random sand block I need to get rid of. I think e-mugging is just ransomware. Yeah, you can e-mug a whole hospital at the same time if you really believe in yourself. But yeah, I think being confident in your worth is an important thing too. Also, where did that? Why the salmon are going flying over my head? I didn't even notice until that one just there. Very fun. So let's pick up the salmon. Let's go throw that in the sea, and let's see what I can be. How many enchanted books have you gotten? I've gotten so many enchanted books. I'm genuinely at the point now where I'm like, I don't know how many I was meant to have, but definitely not this many. Also, flying salmon. Hope something good doesn't hit a cactus behind you. The good news is I wouldn't know it was good if it hit the cactus. If it's an enchanted book, we just have to tell ourselves it was efficiency 1. We didn't care about it anyway. It was all worthless. Hands up, turns pockets inside out, and hands over a quarter and some pocket lint. What more do you need in your life? Anyway, Brighton Stewart. It's an interesting username. Rosie Farrow, happy streamers, excited to catch the fishing stream. See, I made an e-mugging and it worked on Rosie Farrow. Right now, though, hands in the air, put them where I can see them. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of the thing that someone said earlier about like busking. Is like if you go busking on the street and you go, ooh, am I worth anything? People will look at you and go, yeah, well, you're not. If you have to question it, I'm already questioning it. So if you're questioning it, then we already know the answer is no. Guilty of being e-mugged. Fishing mechanics have been a little strong. Yeah, I didn't realize just how good they could be. Also, it's crazy just what's flying past me. This is the downside of a full inventory. But yeah, busking says Darth Gabag. Busking indeed. He's shot a warning shots. Please give him more money. Pew, 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 pew. I've always wanted to have a gun and shoot in the air, because it's like really big no behavior, right? But it's one of those like 1 in 10,000 chance something goes really, really wrong because you fire it into the air, then it gets momentum and comes down. I'm glad I'm not American with the sense of no one should trust me with a gun. Also, my dream is to be Yosemite Sam. Exactly. I just want to be able to shoot with abandon, with reckless abandon. Why can't I do that all the time? Like the arrow you shot in the air. Little Miss Travel, you did watch the Nearlands all the way through. If you've enjoyed this, by the way, one of my longest videos recently was the Nearlands challenge. I spawned in the Nearlands. I wanted to beat Minecraft. I was surprised how quick that went. I think I had a really good run. I think I did surprisingly well for all the aspects of it. But in a little over a couple hours, I went from spawning in the most messed up part of the Minecraft world to beating the game. It was a lot of fun. I love the Nearlands video. And so, yeah, because I thought it was a lot of fun too. Glad you liked it also. But the video, what are the Nearlands? Too big of a question for now. Cool ones, gamer. I've got a whole video on it though. But it was a lot of fun, and it made me realize that I know it was a really long, like it was like a stream but a video. Nearland stream was much more fun. I remember it fondly. I'm glad you liked it, Dasher. So does Farlands actually exist in future Minecraft patch? Says Noki VSRS. I think it's surprising how many people don't know that the Farlands exists in Minecraft Bedrock. I think it's... I always forget that it's only on the Switch, though. Which I still... Or only on the Pocket Edition and the Switch. It's one of those crazy facts that still sounds fake. Like, it raises itself from my brain every year. And I care about this a lot. So, if you don't care, I could see how you wouldn't store that information correctly. But, yeah, it's fun. It reminded me of the old school way of just doing a Let's Play. No cuts, just chilling with the audience, says Vandasar Gaming. I think, though, it might be telling. I don't know how that video will do over its lifetime. The actual ones and not the Stripe lands. Yeah, the Farlands exist on Bedrock if you're playing Pocket Edition. If you're playing Windows 10 or Xbox, you just get the Stripe lands. And if you're playing there's a third variant which is just Endless Ocean. I think it's either PlayStation or maybe it's Xbox. It's the Farlands varies from Bedrock device to Bedrock device. I still don't know why. I think all placements used to vary between Bedrock platforms too. Again, I would love to speak to someone who knows these details. How far do you need to TP? Last I checked, it was Stripe lands on mobile. Is it that they removed the Stripe? It could be. There's a tiny chance that they removed the Farlands on mobile, and I haven't heard about that. Last I checked was 2020. So if you've heard more recently than that, then... But yeah, I feel like I'd have known if they'd removed the Farlands. Xbox has the Ocean down to Bedrock, then the Stripe Ocean. Oh yeah, the Bedrock Ocean on Xbox. Oh yeah. That's the weirder one, huh? Bedrock is so quirky. Yeah, it might be fun to go use that ocean for something. Also, ibxtoycat, more like ibxtoyminecraft, says Harry Letter. Damn straight. ibxtoycat should make an investigation video as Farlands on newer patches would be interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, so here's something fun for anyone who isn't familiar. The issue that happens with the Bedrock, as you get closer to the near lands, that happens on Java too, but only at like 6 million blocks, 6 million times the distance, 3.2 million times the distance. And so yeah, it's fun stuff. Also a video on what the edge of a Minecraft world looks like over platforms and history lol. See, that's a good idea for a that is a good idea for a video, I bet. Also, was given the 12 gauge you were given a 12 gauge shotgun for Christmas when you were 5? Thank you. You know, this is a reverse mugging where someone's reminding me, like, I'm packing 2. Just so you know, I might be shooting you if y'all not careful. But yeah, with Crafty Mossman, the issue of making... I think making friends in any social circumstance is all the same struggle, which is, how do you... Oh god, I've got so much stuff. I've got a very full inventory. I don't know what to do with it all. So dirt can go on the ground, that can go on the ground, and then this can all fit in the place. I've got some spare stuff that I probably should not be taking, and now I'm just gonna go inside, where all my problems won't exist anymore, hopefully. Okay, nice. Does anyone know my name is highlighted green? Says Ryan. It means you are gifted a membership. ibxtoycat, I love your content. I'd love to see you put out some videos, just talking, giving advice, maybe not necessarily always Minecraft. You'd make good video essays. I have a video. It was one of those, so I was awake till 5 AM. I had like some batch of insomnia yesterday. So one of the videos that I came up with that it's one of those things where I'm not sure if I'm meant to say the title out loud in case I get in trouble. But just in case, again, I'm joking if this is offensive. But it was like autistic life advice. It was like, you know, there's a lot of advice that is too frank to give to most people, but also is so important. Just TP to mobile, still stripe/stoplands. Really? Once, you know, I would love to know if that changed, or if that's like a device-to-device thing. So, Farlands, Minecraft Pocket Edition. Okay, I'm searching it. We're all gonna have to look at my fishing inventory for a second. Farlands, Minecraft Pocket Edition, Bedrock Edition Farlands. So the Bedrock Edition Farlands, Oh god, Minecraft wiki sucks so bad. Wiki. I want to find the actual wiki. Okay, Bedrock Farlands. They were a terrain generation bedrock bug on Bedrock that occurred millions of blocks from the world origin. It formed the edge of the infinite world. The edge Farlands, blah, 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 blah. Did it change? It says, yeah, they are initiated. Okay, so there we go. And then we go to history. In 1.17.30, the Farlands were removed across all dimensions. There we go. Wow, that's interesting. In the Caves and Cliffs update... Oh, because they were working on terrain generation. They fixed the Farlands bug. Ah. Sucks. Maybe neurodivergent life advice would sound better. Yeah, it's definitely a... But I think, genuinely, if people cared about hearing it, there is advice that is you cannot give to normal people. Like, you know, like the average person goes, oh no, that's terrible to say. But sometimes you hear it and you're like, thank God someone said that. Thank God I heard someone who was just willing to tell me the truth more than they are willing to risk saying something that, you know, like sounds a little bit like, you know, weird. Anyway, you're allowed to say autistic. Thank you. You know, I got the autism card from Kat. It's all sorted. Is there a Farlands? And that's how it works, right? You get the card, you can say it. Please make that channel. I am definitely... So again, one of the things about, like I was saying, like as YouTube has evolved, I basically I've had to work out, every year, some amount of my channel has to evolve, which means some of it grows and some of it dies. There are series that I used to do in, like Q&A Saturday used to be my way of answering just some random questions from the week. Like Q&As used to be a thing YouTubers would do. It was a really common type of video, and then it died. It was like, who wants to watch just a Q&A? And so it evolves to like what it is right now, where it's like answering the news via people's questions. It's in my opinion, it's a compelling way to do that. The idea of Seed Sunday, which was like, I would find seeds, like from scratch myself. No one wants to see a found seed. It's you know, like a one that you found interesting. It's like, no, people want to see the most interesting seed that has the craziest looking shot in the corner. Realm Experiments is cooking. Yeah, nowadays Realm Experiments, I mean, like, there are channels that are doing what I did, except they're faking it, because that's how you tell a more interesting story. When the natural evolution becomes lie, that's when I always back out from something. And if the natural evolution is this doesn't succeed, I have to make the hard decision about, like, well, is it worth it? Am I picking up dirt from the... Also, hello. Would you like to come fishing with me? I could use life advice from an autistic person. I think it was like the other way around. It was like, you know, whatever. Oh, I smell garlic bread, by the way. It smells real good. I hope it's garlic bread in my house and not my neighbor's garlic. Whenever my neighbors cook garlic, I can smell it so strongly. I can't smell my own garlic usually though, but I hope I'm wrong today. My autistic life advice is everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's because you're stupid and make bad decisions. Thank you, Interstate 80. Very true. I feel like I've missed Seed Sunday. Yeah, it's anyway, my point is to say every year some part of the channel has to evolve, become something new. Some part of it has to die. Something I've enjoyed the last 3 to 6 months or so are these big video essays we do once a month. What Mojang needs to fix before mending is a great example. Or like the biggest problem, this year's mob vote was the worst ever. Like people are down with those. They really like it. They're finding it compelling. And so I want to do that because, you know, it's a good opportunity for me to talk about big things. Like people want to hear my opinion on those things. I love to talk about, like, so one of the videos I want to work on is like, why is Minecraft YouTube filled with, you know, like what it is right now? I've heard overwhelmingly that people don't like the state of it, and it's like, but everyone's watching it. The easiest solution to making YouTube better for yourself and for everyone else is only click on and watch the videos that are actually good. If someone is deceiving you or like, you know, if you don't like something, don't watch it. It's the simple advice. It's a bit more complex than that in reality, right? But, yeah, by the way, I'm going to take this now. I'm going to go back home with it all. And we're going to go sort our newly found set of books into a chest. And we're going to see what we got. I like your Minecraft-like video essays, but if you had a second channel where you talk about societal things and wellness stuff, that'd be cool too, says Harry Letter. That is something I also want to try out on the main channel, I think. Probably isn't a good fit. But I feel like there's so many videos of like Minecraft being used as the background for something bigger. Also, we have no free will. We click on what YouTube gives us. Ultimately true. Ultimately true. Okay, I'm gonna go into my very big Nether portal. It's one of my favorite things to do in this world. After a couple hours of fishing, we deserve a good... Yeah, no, okay. Well, there goes the Nether portal. This is still one of the most ridiculous things I've built in this world. But I absolutely love it, chat. I absolutely love it. Also, you know, one of my other favorite things. We don't have time to add free mobs. Takes time to fix people don't like. Also, copper bulb change. Yeah, I didn't make a video essay about that, but I think it's a really... There's such a deep topic about should Mojang listen to the community. Like, what is more important? Mojang's thoughts on something independently? Like, the actual answer is like, yeah, obviously, like, you need a bit of both. But isn't it interesting, some people fully believe that if the community wants something, they should always get it. This probably autistic person recommends paying attention to your body and how it feels. We're forced to ignore this a lot, and trying to ignore it altogether is not healthy. Working out the right amount is good. IL Mango made a video talking about how Mojang constantly screws over Minecraft players. I think an issue that Minecraft has with the game being so big is there are communities in Minecraft the size of the entire community of another game. And so if you're a Redstone YouTuber, if you're a technical player, if you're a 100 Days YouTuber, you will feel very genuinely like your set of the game is the only one that exists. I feel a little isolated in the Bedrock space. Like, we got, like, Silent Whisper out here. And then we got, like, you know, like, we're in, like, a little isolated corner of the Bedrock YouTube. But it's a... the same point still sort of applies that, like, I assume when Minecraft screws over Bedrock so they can make it more like Java, it's like, why would you do that? And the answer is, it makes it easier for Java players to play Bedrock. There's small changes, but they make a big difference in the long run. I assume. I don't actually... I'm making a lot of assumptions about Mojang's desires here on their behalf because they won't tell us. Because they just say parity if they say anything, and then they stop saying anything about parity. So now we're making big guesses. But anyway, the weird thing about... okay, we're going to put all the fishing rods away in this chest. Oh, there's a lot of books I never moved over. So many books we have to move over. And there's still a bunch of fish. I don't know where I store the fish. Is the fish in here? The fish is in here. Okay, just put it in the corner there. Put it in the corner here. Maybe put all the salmon in one corner. And then have all the cod in another corner. You know, yep, there we go. Looks great. So, yeah, one of the weird things about being siloed into communities is you genuinely just feel like, why would they screw over the whole community? But actually, there's someone who benefits from this dumb change. I don't like that there's, like, I feel like my opinion is still valid even if this, but you know, you understand things a lot better if you're like, okay, yeah, well, someone gained from this at least, hopefully, versus when it feels like, yeah, just pure malice. Like, why do they not like us that much? Every time they change Bedrock to match Java, when you go over the changes, wait, they had it different this entire time? Yeah, there are people every day who are Java players for life, but they maybe bought an Xbox One Series X, or they just got a PlayStation 5, and they're like, yeah, I'll play some Minecraft. And they go to load it up, and they're like, oh, never mind. Right? Also, I think I put my fishing rod away, so now I have to search through all of these to look for my one. Is it that one? I think lure goes up to 3, so we need to find whichever fishing rod has Luck of the Sea and lure. Actually, found it right away. Perfect. Yeah, there's a real struggle in working out the difference between other people's needs and your own that I don't blame people for having, but also it's one of the reasons that Mojang has to be communicative. It is, even though it's on us to Make sure we're... It's not just on, you know, like, we can't blame everything on Mojang. But it ultimately is about, like, yes, they need to communicate. It is good for these people, and our vision of the game is making sure that those people can do that. We understand that this is bad for these people, but ultimately we think in the end that that is a good trade-off. It's an entirely reasonable thing to say. Whereas, like, not saying anything makes people, like, nervous, paranoid, suspicious, I don't know. And it's easy to stop that. I play Java for life, but still enjoy watching you play and discussing deep philosophical questions. I'm glad you do. I'm surprised how many people say something like that. Like, yep. I'm surprised there are fewer channels. There aren't many channels in the space that do what we do here. It feels as though, to me, this is what comes kind of naturally. It's what I enjoy doing. So I'm glad you get something out of it. I am going to say for now that I need to eat some food. I didn't have dinner before the stream. I did the stream slightly early today. I hope you benefit from that. I've got another stream. So I've been streaming on the odd day of the month, this month. But I've had to move it early for the last couple of days. So I'll be streaming on Thursday or Friday next. And I look forward to seeing you there. I'm going to do something fun, goofy. Right, who gains out of a redstone nerf? Redstoners get screwed and casual players don't even notice the difference. Okay, so Crafty Mossman, it's the same thing with the Bedrock thing. It's like they changed the color of one biome so that no one enjoys it on Bedrock anymore. No one on Java ever noticed. They won't add... There's all sorts of things that seem from the outside logical. But ultimately, for 99.8% of players, they will never notice the difference in the redstone. Would be my guess. If someone didn't explain it to me, and there was never a changelog, I wouldn't have known, and I feel like I dive into Minecraft mechanics more in depth. Like, if no one had ever said anything, I wouldn't have found it out myself ever. However, maybe if I did get into redstone, I would... I'm guessing someone at Mojang thinks those people finding it inconsistent genuinely is worth taking away that huge chunk from the community. Because it's not their job to gift things. I watched a video, actually, about Mojang not understanding redstone. I thought it was a really good one. But I also thought it almost is a deliberate thing. That if Mojang makes redstone features specifically for redstone, it's less interesting than when you work around what else they give you, right? Like, a big part of Minecraft is people... Like, Mojang will spend months designing a beautiful structure, and then no one uses the structure as their base. We all instead will throw up stuff there. So thank you, Sasha. Thank you for becoming the 436th channel member. Working our way up there. Appreciate you joining the ranks, helping us along. Oh, I've got a lot of discs of relic here. Should I take one, move it around somewhere in the world? I think that seems logical to do. Anyway, thank you for coming along to today's live stream. If you liked it, don't forget to like it. If you didn't like it, make sure to dislike it. And if you really would like to have a good time, make sure to check out my upcoming video about how to kill Minecraft's hardest mobs, just a little bit easier. King B said at some point that a block like the comparator would probably not be added today. It'd be split into 2 blocks, lol. Yeah, I think genuinely from an outsider's perspective, I get it too. Like, redstone... okay, every game has this issue. You know, can we talk about redstone for a minute here, chat? Let's do it. Gonna just throw chirp in this. Do 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 do. Okay, so I think yeah, I want to give last thought on this redstone thing. I think as any community gets more and more evolved, they start building jargon and language and systems that they assume everyone else knows. One of the hardest things about, one of the things I always like to do is I teach people about Minecraft. Indeed, that is one of the kind of things I've started bringing back. It's like, actually, there's a lot of people who don't know about a lot of things I assume people know about Minecraft. And so working out what is it the average person, what are the things that everyone assumes the average person knows, but they don't, is important. It's real hard. And it's what Mojang's job is to do. And I think it's different, you know, in the same way that I can't believe that there are people who genuinely don't know that there are 2 versions of Minecraft. It seems so obvious to me that I'm playing Bedrock right now, but it's not. And the same with Redstone. So some people, Redstone is very obvious. It's in your brain and DNA. To me, I know exactly how all the pieces work, but it's like, Oh, yeah, but it's that weird system over there that does the weird, goofy things, and like, you know, here's the extent of the redstone in my world. Is this a Bedrock exclusive, by the way? Do you like my... Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Mojang's really bad at teaching people redstone through game design. Yeah, I think... Okay, I mean, my final point on this would be to say, bring back the tutorial world. It's what we all actually need in our life. Speaking of things we all need, I hope you all enjoyed today's video live stream, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And yeah, hope you have a great Tuesday evening. I've enjoyed myself, and I got myself a lot of enchanted books. But apparently, if I want to get all the enchanted books by fishing, like, I mean, if we just go back a second. So I'm doing that thing where I'm saying goodbye, and then I'm ungoodbying you. But yeah, if I wanna actually get all the books, I'm making good progress, but I'm gonna have to fish for a lot longer. So double as long fishing stream sound good. Goodbye. See you there. Looking forward to it. I appreciate you spending your time with me this evening, and I look forward to seeing you next time.